Chad and JT, I'm familiar with your work because I follow all the local, C-SPAN coverage of a number of very small Southern California cities that need to have some sort of public commentary from the people. Yeah. And you seem to have provided that. You guys really take a stand on so many issues, and I just want to let you guys know I admire that.
Oh, thank you so much.
I admire your approach to making sure our world's a better place. How did you come up with the idea of a Paul Walker statue, Chad,
good question. Well,
I only ask those types of questions.
Dude, thank you, man. And I appreciate you throwing the abbrev in there. I mean, it's at a time, sort of not unlike now where this country is super polarized,
Yes.
Everyone was sort of, just sort of grappling with each other. And JT and I were sort of like, looked at each other. We're like, well, we need, this is not okay. Everyone needs to kind of feel stoked again. Everyone needs to come together. And we're like, we look at each other. We're like, what brings us together? And boom, Paul Walker. And what do you do for unifying figures? You make a statue. So it literally just popped into our domes. And then we just hit the council that day because JT's well-versed in politics. He knows the word constituents. So we did it that day, and it just and our activism began.
And then it began.
Yeah.
And how did you find the city council took your request for a Paul Walker statue?
There was a respectful denial. But
yes.
we had such a groundswell of support from America, from the entire nation, that they erected at least a 6-inch statue.
Yeah, they made a little doll.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I missed that.
It was cool. I mean, we want something that stands out a bit more because we wanted people who were immigrating to San Clemente for that to be the first thing they saw on the pier.
Yes.
And unless they're rocking binocs, they're not going to see the 6-incher, but it's a start.
Yeah.
So how much of a factor do you find yourselves being in front of these city councils and trying to press your case for so many important issues that of our time, guys? What would you say?
I mean, they listen to us. I mean, they come up afterwards and they're sort of like, I didn't want to say this, but you were saying exactly what I wanted to hear. A lot of respectful denials, but I think that the general population sort of supports our causes, and that's continuing the momentum to bring about change and just bring about more stoke.
And we've inspired a lot of other new young activists that they didn't realize that those environments were so accessible. So I get DMs and texts from dudes at LSU and Arizona State and Florida State and other prestigious academic institutions, and they'll just hit me up and be like, dude, I didn't realize we could petition the city to build a beer bong off the library tower. And I'm like, no, you can and you should. And so that's been something we didn't anticipate, but that's been very life affirming.
Yeah. And even dudes as far as Denver and stuff, they'd be like, I can't tell you how many dudes have been like, hey, I just petitioned for another chairlift, and that's crazy.
Did they build one? Did they build one?
No.
Another chairlift?
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like that might be bringing sand to the beach. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, yeah, but worst case scenario, they just do more backcountry, so it's a win-win.
Good point.
Yeah.
Was there a moment, guys, where the light bulb went over your heads collectively and said that you could? Well, you have to listen to me finish my sentence.
Sorry.
No, where the light bulb went over your head and you thought to yourselves, we can make a difference. Was there one specific moment where you guys realized the sway you might have?
I think, it was a very personal moment, but it was when we first met, we were doing a 4-hose beer bong. And, there were 2 other dudes involved, Kellen and Bonk. But during our chug, we just had this cosmic connection and I think at that moment, we sort of looked at each other, we were like, whoa, we are kind of a dream team when it comes to making change, because JT's so good at amping people up at parties. And we're like, well, why don't we just do that for the rest of the world? You know what I mean?
But you inspire me to do it.
Oh, that's true.
You're like, hey, everyone here needs to get amped. And I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So once you mobilize that energy, I really started to take off, and I owe it all to my dog right here.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Have you made your parents proud?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, they had very low expectations, so.
So the bar's been set very low?
Yeah, I was really intentional about that. Like I waited about 24 years before I did anything right, so that once it started going a little bit better, they were like, "Holy cow, sky's the limit for this kid."
Chad and JT Go Deep is available on Netflix or streaming right now. So what do you guys want your legacy to be?
Oh, that's good cue.
Legacy.
What's your legacy? I mean, clearly you're trying to change minds. You're trying to make an impact. It's obvious in your work. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you think?
I think for me personally, I think I want to be known as the guy who forever changed the brand of the name Chad. You know, because Chad has, you know, kind of a negative connotation within the public sphere right now.
Well, how so? What do you mean?
People just say, you know, they say Chads and Brads, you know, referring to dudes who just like aren't chill or, you know, square up a lot. And so I want to be the guy who's like, no, Chads are actually sick. And I want that to sort of be in the Urban Dictionary after I'm done.
I'd like to be like the Dick Vermeil of activism, where a prominent champion.
By the way, I cannot wait to hear what the description of this is going to be, JT. I can't wait to hear it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow right there.
Not at all.
But
dude.
that's a great opener.
Thank
That you want to be the Dick Vermeil of activism?
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Like a prominent, enduring figure who reaches the mountaintop and cries the whole time.
And has longevity.
Has longevity.
I mean, he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's damn
got a
near
chip.
90.
He's
right?
in the movie Invincible.
Yes.
And we also know that if you bring up any player he has any kind of relationship with, he'll find the sentimental there and break down. And I'd like to do that, but in the activism sphere.
Are you saying you would want Greg Kinnear to play you in a film if a film was made of your life?
I'm not opposed to it. I'm a pretty big Kinnear fan. I didn't think he was hot enough in the movie Sabrina to go toe-to-toe with Harrison Ford, but in everything else, I think he's been top-notch.
That's an excellent breakdown.
Thank you.
I understand that. I understand that. Dennis Quaid just played him in Kurt Warner's movie as well.
Nice. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Whose Vermeil did you like more?
I thought Dennis Quaid's Vermeil was a little bit more believable.
I believe that.
Because and this is totally unfair to Greg Kinnear, who has been nominated for an Oscar, right?
As good as it gets.
He was too close to his Talk Soup days for me to believe him as Dick Vermeil.
Oh, interesting.
It wasn't that far removed from that. Not to get too deep into the details here, but
I love it.
You know, do you play fantasy football?
I do. I'm leaving tomorrow to go to Utah for my annual fantasy football draft.
Why is it in Utah?
Our friend has a home out there, and it's kind of equidistant for everyone who lives all over the country. So we all fly in for 3 days, and we paintball and go-kart race and then draft.
Okay. In that order?
Yeah. That's basically the running order.
Utah is geographically sound because to only
Probably,
a certain part of the United States, one would say.
Yeah, equidistant was probably the wrong phrase, but it was the closest one I could think of. It's just,
I didn't mean to take you too literally there, but I'm just trying to
direct
figure.
flights from New York, direct flights from LA.
Do city councils know you're coming? Do they know your faces now? Because you've done this in so many places. Your activism is now world known. Do they know that
they
you're
don't
coming?
know we're coming? When they see us, then they know. And we even went to Des Moines recently. We went to Delaware. In Delaware, they didn't want us to speak, so they tried to smoke us out for 6 hours. We showed up at 7, and we went up at 2 a.m. And they moved the public comment back.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Just to try and ice you? Is that what you're saying?
Just to try to tire us out, make us leave. But they didn't realize I had my vape on me. I could have gone for.
Yeah.
Your siege tactics aren't going to work on me. I'm loaded for bear. I'm ready to be here all night.
That was their problem. Is that, please, they're not going to try and outlast you. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, you can test us on a couple fronts, like intelligence, cogence,
Yes.
but you will not test us on commitment.
Yeah. And they would bring up issues about like a Courtyard Marriott and stuff, and we even got involved with that. They're like, well, if you're going to build this, then put some palm trees in there. And I think they did.
Yeah, which people are kind of against palm trees right now because they're a big like water suck and they don't really provide much for nature. But we're kind of big on aesthetics, and we think it provides like a level of hope when you see them that works across the country.
Oh, man.